All of this is actually happening in 2018. It's been 2 years since this vacation. 2018, too much stuff happened, and this video was just put on a imaginary shelf, and we didn't really do anything with it until now. Hi, welcome back to Rich Bag Creations. As you can see, I'm not home at the moment because me and Max and my sister and her fiance, we're actually in Scotland on our vacation. So we're actually planning now to go to Inverness. So we have our backpacks ready and let's go. So we started off our trip to Scotland with an evening in Edinburgh, and I actually met Elaine. I met her back in 2008 when I was in Scotland first time, so I was really happy to see her again. And we did try some Scottish fried Mars bars, and they were delicious, but we did actually split them, so we didn't really eat one by ourselves. So on this first day, we were going up to Inverness, but we did stop at a couple of places along the way. So we went to a church, and then we went to this really beautiful place. I've totally forgotten the name, but it was a kind of nature reserve, or I don't know, just a place with really beautiful nature. So we went on a little hike just to stretch our legs from the car trip and to have a look around. Not really a famous place, I think, but I don't know, I just enjoyed it. We did go to a little place called Loch Vaa, and our guide had actually never been there before, so it was he was like, do you guys want me to show you somewhere I know that is nice, or somewhere where I think it's nice? And we decided that, you know what, let's all explore this together and let's go to a place that none of us has actually been before. And Loch Vaa was really nice. There was no people. Well, maybe, I think there was one person or something. Then really, we weren't doing much more that day. We were really closing in on Inverness. So we went to our hotel and we did see a little bit of Inverness during the night. Then after a good healthy, or not healthy, but a tasty breakfast, it was on the road again. And then the first stop was Loch Ness, which is probably the most famous loch in the entire world. And it was really cold and bitter. The pictures didn't really do it justice when it comes to how cold and windy it was, but it looked amazing. Sadly, I didn't see Nessie anywhere, but I might be blinking too long, who knows. We continued on and we went to the Falls of Foyers, which is a really beautiful waterfall, and the park or the woodlands around it is really beautiful. I just feel that you can spend hours there hiking, and it was perfect. I just loved the trees and the nature, and the sound of the waterfall was amazing. So I do recommend, if you're ever around there, just go to the Falls of Foyers. The tracks and the trails were just beautiful. And the lovely thing about Scotland, that there's so many places you can just stop the car, walk out of it, and just, I don't know, breathe in the views. Just appreciate what you're seeing everywhere all the time. It's just lovely. One of the places we did stop randomly was a little graveyard along one of the lochs, and it was just so serene. And if I were to be buried in Scotland, that would be the place for me. I just loved it. Then we did stop at the Caledonian Canal in Fort Augustus, and it was really nice to see one of the little towns in Scotland. And they have really tasty ice cream, by the way, just randomly, just so you know. We didn't really stay there that long because now we were heading on to perhaps or definitely the favorite part of the trip, or the second favorite, because going back on the train was really awesome too. But we got to go to Fort William and take the Jacobite train line to Mallaig. Sorry for the pronunciation, all Scottish people out there. Mallaig, oh sorry, but yeah, I just love trains, and I even got to go into the engine, and they were so cool, and we chatted a little bit about locomotives, and I was just in seven heaven. Then it was on the first class on the express, heading into perhaps one of the most beautiful places I've ever seen in my life. The nature on that train track, like going through Scotland, it was just so beautiful, and the sound of the engine just going, oh, I just wish anyone that ever loved trains just to go on a trip like that once in your lifetime. It was amazing. So yeah. So then we were heading up to the Glenfinnan Viaduct, which is really famous. A lot of you guys know from which series, of course, and it just felt magical. It just felt like I'm finally home, and just the views over the loch, or I think it's a loch. Now I'm a little bit unsure if it's, yeah, it's a loch. But it was just so beautiful, and the weather, even though it wasn't sunny, there's the clouds and the mist, and I can just imagine Hogwarts being there just behind the fog, and oh, I just wanted to stay there forever. But yeah, we did have to continue the train ride on to Mallaig because we were going to the Isle of Skye. So, but yeah, just enjoy this train ride with me. Loved it. So as we were approaching the destination of our little train trip, the weather was starting to turn really grey. Like, it had been bad all the time, but it was really starting to blow up, and I don't know, it felt like Azkaban could be around the corner with that weather. And oh my, is that what my hair looks like from the back? You know, this trip, it was not a hair trip. Like, you look like a mess because the wind was just constantly blowing at your face and your hair, and it was impossible to look good. So that's probably why we ended up just turning the cameras away from ourselves and just enjoying the surroundings instead, because boy, that hair. But yeah. We arrived at the Isle of Skye, and we couldn't even see the island before we were on it. That's how foggy it was. But yeah, we got to go a little bit around and take some pictures, but the rain was just really just ruining everything. So we went to bed after a nice dinner and some live music in the hotel, which was so lovely. Then we went on to a little day trip out to some of the most magnificent nature points in the Isle of Skye. Or we tried a lot of them, but due to the weather and the rain, it was really difficult to see anything. Like, it was so foggy, so misty, that the Old Man of Storr, which was one of the places I really wanted to see, couldn't see it at all. So at the Isle of Skye, just like with the rest of Scotland, there's so many sheep. And I love sheep. I'm really weak for sheep. Like, they're adorable. I love animals. So yeah, we kind of had to take a picture of every sheep we saw. Then our guide on the Isle of Skye was actually a former lighthouse keeper at Neist Point, which is the most lovely little lighthouse on the tip of the Isle of Skye. So we were driving all the way over there so he could show where he worked. And we
over there is supposed to be Neist Point.
Absolutely nothing. Like nothing. Like, it was super dangerous because suddenly, if you didn't watch where you were stepping, you were just gonna walk off a cliff. Then we were on our merry way through the most sunniest Skye I've ever seen, because of course the day we're leaving from the Isle of Skye it's super sunny. And as you might have seen, Max couldn't really pack his backpack, and that was just hilarious looking back. But yeah, so when we were on our way to the ferry to leave the Isle of Skye, the weather was just amazing, and we could actually see the Old Man of Storr from the car, but the pictures aren't that great because it was really far away from the road that we were driving. But so I did get to see it, but just on a really far off distance. But yeah, next time, Skye, because I will definitely be back, I will stay for longer, making sure I do get some varied weather. So we finally actually got some time in Mallaig to look around while we were waiting for the Jacobite train line back to Fort William. And we found this lovely little Harry Potter shop that I do recommend if you're ever there. The lady that owned it, she was super sweet. And then I did try to be like, oh, look at me, maybe I'll vlog a little bit. And like I say in Norwegian, it just feels so awkward. I don't know how people manage to talk in front of a camera in public places. I just turn into the most awkward person. So we're currently just been to the Isle of Skye for a couple of days, and now we're waiting for the Jacobite train line to go back to Fort William. I bought myself some every flavor beans, and I'm ready for the train. Stop. Get some help. Gee. That's awkward. I'm sorry. more steam engines coming up. I just love steam engines. I love locomotives. Always love them. They're just so magical. And the smell and the sounds. Oh, normal, regular trains, they don't really make the cut for me. But yeah, we were on our way back to Fort William. I even held on to the trolley just for a second, just to feel like I was the trolley witch, which felt amazing. But yeah, just another day at the Jacobite, and with the amazing views that we had, is just something that I really look back on with great fondness. Okay, demonetized. We managed to squeeze in a little bit of time to look around in Fort William. Max actually managed to lose his camera onto the ground, so one of the lenses totally broke on us, which was a little bit of a bummer. But we did get some nice food, so that was nice for me. Then we continued on with the local train down to Glasgow, and we saw about 10 seconds of Glasgow because we just ran from one train to the next to get the quickest back to Edinburgh. Then for the final day of our trip, we just went really touristy all over, and we went to the Edinburgh Castle, we went to the Mary King's Close, which is so cool. Like, that was the second time I was at the Mary King's Close, and it was still really fun. We went to a Harry Potter shop, and we went to a fossil shop, and yeah, we just went a little bit crazy with some shopping, well, what we could fit in our backpacks, which were already full. But yeah, just enjoyed a nice city vacation for the final day, and yeah, that was pretty much it. This was the shortest way possible to cut down our really intense vacation that we had. It was such a fun time for the four of us. We enjoyed ourselves a lot, and I do hope that I can go back to Scotland again sometime, and I hope we all get to travel again soon. And that is pretty much it for this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it, and I'll see you again next week. So thank you so much for watching. Just a quick little bonus. When you have a GoPro that captures everything, it's so fun to look back how much Max struggled with this backpack. But he did manage it in the end, which is good.